All right, let's go back to the tattoo question, or just kind of hope things maybe swing up a little bit here. And oh, really? Come on. Go figure it out. Good luck. What is the meaning of life? Why do we work so hard to build a great life just to die at the end? Well, there's an optimist. What is the meaning of life? Why do we work so hard to build a great life just to die at the end? I don't know. Boy, there's a lot of ways I would want to take that. What is the meaning of life? To me, that's easy. It's love God and love neighbor. That's it. Love God and love neighbor. Jesus said all Scripture hangs on those two commands. And what's interesting is that when you look biblically at love, love God is all throughout the Bible in some way, shape, or form. Love neighbor, though, is just really, it's half a verse of Leviticus that Jesus lifts up. And this is Jesus doing his thing. It's him interpreting the Scriptures for us. And, his line is that all Scripture hangs on that, meaning that, this book, all of it, is simply a witness to those two commands. And so I would say this: if you want a meaningful life, love God and love your neighbor. The thing you'll instantly notice about those two commands is that neither of them is about you. Is it? Love God, love neighbor. And if we do that, we take care of ourselves. And I think God takes care of us. Love God, love neighbor. Now, of course, as you live those commands out, they get a little interesting sometimes. In that our neighbor does us wrong, for example, or we encounter evil, where we have a question like the last one. It's, can I really trust you, God, given what I see and what's happening in my life now? How is it that we can go forward? It'll be tested. But at the end of the day, love God and love neighbor is the only life that matters. Occasionally, I really like the way Stephen Covey put it, the habits of highly effective people, and he has a great story in that he was talking to a corporate guy, and he kind of lived this version of his life. And I'm also a big fan of, I think, is it Bob Buford who wrote the book Halftime? It's like we had one professional life, and then it's halftime, and then what's the second half of your life going to be about? Both of those books kind of wrestle with how do we live a life that matters. But Stephen Covey has a great story, or parable almost, if you will, of guys climbing the corporate ladder, and gets an education, does this, does that, climbs the ladder, and he gets to the top of the ladder, and he can see over the top of the wall, and what he realizes is that he's climbed the wrong wall. In other words, he didn't invest himself in a life that mattered. And so he finds himself having achieved much, but done little. The other way in which we might poke around this question is to say, why do we work so hard to build a great life? Well, I would be interested in what your definition of that is, a great life, and then maybe compare it to Jesus' definition. And to say, what would Jesus say is a great life? Is that a 401k with millions of dollars in it? I doubt it. Is it something that's where accolades and titles are? And this is where you just have to realize what a powerful example against our own sinful, greedy nature Jesus is. And to say for him, a great life has such a different understanding. And I think there's a story of Mother Teresa where a corporate executive is visiting her and the Sisters of Charity and their work in Calcutta, and the Sisters of Charity work on the donations of others, and the corporate executive asks Mother Teresa, it's like, what can I do to support you? What can I give financially in order to keep the ministry going? And Mother Teresa goes over to a table where a leper who had just been brought in off the street, picks him up, which Mother Teresa was pretty frail, so you can, not pretty petite, not frail. If anybody's not frail, it's Mother Teresa. Anyway, picks up the leper, and then she takes it to the corporate guy, puts the leper in his arms, and says, pray about what you should do. The context changes everything. Of all the people on that scene, Mother Teresa, the leper corporate executive, what would Jesus say is who is living the life that matters? And I think Jesus would be likely to say the glory of God is being shown in all three, given the choice they make. But I also think that Jesus would say somehow, some way, that his heart is with the leper. So again, Jesus, anytime we use words like great, a great life, what is my purpose, when we come to answers for ourselves for those, to compare them against Jesus' answer, I think is always fruitful ground for our faith in which to grow.